So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to take generic companies or generic emails. In this case, we have identified a few like Yahoo, Gmail, iCloud that are not a specific company's domain. You can go sign up for these emails for free, more or less. If you have an iPhone, I think you get an iCloud. If you go create a free Gmail, you get a Gmail. We get these interactions from different people trying to work with us. And I want in this domain level matching system, I want to go create companies for these emails. So that's what I'm going to be showing in this video. We're going to jump right into it. If you haven't met me before, my name is Ben. Charlie and I have been doing this series. I'm finishing out the series on just this last step so that it's complete and you can get the base. So let's share our screen. This is domain level matching. And in here, if you've been following the series, we've created a system where you can ingest data. I'm going to shrink this up a little bit. Basically what this does, if I clear out all of this data, you can give it a comma separated list of emails. It then goes and finds or creates all of the emails and domains and companies and contacts, with the exception of if we've identified an email and labeled it as a generic email. The use case for this is we get emails from these like this is some personal emails in here, like my personal email as an example. Maybe I get another one that's like, see the best way to type this in, green.ben.ra. We get that one. I also want it to do a similar thing and go create the email, but then create a generic company that is not gmail.com. So we've at least avoided allowing this to create companies, like, or to just link to a generic company that is always Gmail, because I know like this person and this person are different. But now we're going to go ahead and see how we can make it start creating companies. So if we jump into this companies, and this is actually a good practice as far as like tracking dependencies. If you just came into a base and you're like, how does this field get filled in? If you're on a business or enterprise, you can click show dependencies. If you're not, this is a little bit risky, so I would not recommend doing this unless you're okay with the risk of it deleting the field, which you can undo using, if it does delete the field, you can do Command Z, but if it does delete the field, you didn't have any dependencies. This field gets filled in by this automation here. I like to triple click on the automation name, go to automations and use Command F to find it. So this is the automation that does this. And the field it's filling in companies from, if we hover over this, as contacts from emails and company. Let's see. Just edit this token and go back a few steps. So company from domains from emails. Let's go check that field out. Companies from domains from emails. So ideally, to make things as simple as possible, this field is going to end up being the one that has my new company in it, and that gets pulled from emails. And that field is referencing company from domains. So not this one, it's pulling from this one. I think what Charlie was saying is ideally it's pulling from this field in our last video. So this is a formula where it's saying if company from domains, actually it's saying if we have the companies from contacts, which is this one, then return companies from contacts, otherwise return companies from domains. But even here, we don't have the system auto-generating the right things. So like here, let's go find, like here, it's not creating companies right here. In this case, companies is like the first field in here is single line text. So what I could say is if this is generic, then go create the company. So from the emails field, I'm going to look up the status. Okay, so these are generic. So this would be link. I'm not sure exactly which automation is doing this. So let's try, if you're on the free version, we can just try deleting that field and it is this automation. So link company to contact. So I want to add some conditional logic in here and say, if that status field, the value of it has any of generic, do one thing, otherwise do a different thing. So I'm going to pull this into the second one. I'm going to say has none of generic. But a little time-saving hack in here is I can duplicate this and drag it up here. So if it is generic, or if it has generic, I still want to update the contact, but in order to create the company, I want to use the, if I jump back out of here, I want to use the name of the record, which should be an email. Actually, let's see. So contacts table, the name of the record is currently that. I could also use the email if I chose to. Maybe let's actually use email. So here, instead of name, I find emails to be more unique. Let's take this a step further. Instead of using the email field, I should use the email, the clean data version of this, which is the email from automation. And let's see now, because we've changed this now, if we need to adjust for anything in the trigger record. So no records currently match conditions, but I think records should match conditions. How I want to know this is, ideally I'm doing this with the least amount of fields possible. So we'll see if maybe we'll be able to delete the status field. But here I want to count the number of emails where company from domains is not empty. So not quite. Let's see. If we said company from domains is not empty or status is generic, that would mean it's done processing. So this needs to equal 1. If we go back to the automation, count emails equals 1, companies is empty. If I want to get rid of that generic, that field that just returns generic, what I could say is, well, we already know that this is 1. So we could just say this field that I am copying the field name of, in our conditions, we can say that field. You can say that is empty. We'll test this out and see if this works, but then here we'll say that that field is not empty. And then, for lack of a better way of doing this, I'm just going to start deleting things in hopes that it starts adding things back. So contacts, you see it's starting to link to companies. It is accounting for all of this. It looks like it's working well. Let's see if it has unique companies. It appears that it does. Although there's this one. Not sure how that one happened. Let's see what happened there. Oh, I think it's because I haven't categorized these. Because I deleted my generic emails. Whoops. I deleted it a little bit too much, is what it looks like. Actually, is this taking care of itself? Let's just try deleting all of these companies. the contacts. Okay, so I think this is now working as I would intend. So now it's created all these companies as their own records. And these contacts now, if it's a generic email, it's now created its own company, which is what I wanted. Okay, so now on the interactions, we still have empty companies. So now I need to either change it to this field or have a good way of making this work. So I'm going to call this one company's master. And this is not really ideal that I do it this way, but I think it may work. So I probably just went and messed up an automation, this one. So because I changed that from a lookup of a linked record field, it now broke this. So if I add the company's field back, I'm now going to use that field that I just added and choose the value. So let's go try deleting all of our contacts again. And try deleting all of our companies again. And see what happens here. So it should have already created emails. It's going to go through and start creating companies. See if it, like here I could see potential issues because this is like, has duplicates. Let's see if it has any issues with any of this. So potentially I got some errors in this, maybe not. It says no errors now. So I would like to see it run on this top one for some reason. Oh, there it goes. Just took it a little. So we have optimize, it should just be optimized in Nordstrom. That appears to be what we have. It linked the right contacts. So that looks right. Here, when there was a personal, it looked like it did it correctly there as well. So that's the last step. Hope you got value out of this. If you, again, want the link to this so that you can go copy paste formulas, whether it's here or this one or any of these, or you want to go dive into the automations and see what is different about your base than this one on how we did any of this, feel free to check out the link in the description, get a copy of this base, and see if you can make it work for yourself. Hope you got value out of it, and we'll see you in the next one.